It's very sad that 2 years ago today, 7th of October, marks the anniversary where innocent people were blown to smithereens by a terrorist organisation, otherwise known as Hamas. And we have seen it in the last 2 years shoved down our throats in the UK by the left about this free Palestine nonsense and this Palestine Action group that refuse to accept the law and therefore end up arrested constantly. Good, as far as I'm concerned. This Palestine, Free Palestine, is nothing but a biased left-wing type education that's given at some schools where the pupils come out with this hate and this bias against Israel. It's on the borderline of anti-Semitism as far as I'm concerned. And these people have gone around for 2 years bullying, sneering and smearing and shouting anybody down that disagree with what they're doing, especially standing there with saucepans and stupid scarves wrapped around their head and making a noise for Palestine. You know, gutless cowards that if you really feel that loyal and that strong, then why don't you go to Palestine and fight for what you believe is right? Because as far as I'm concerned, you're supporting Hamas, a terrorist group. So why don't you go and work with them? See how far your freedom of speech and banging saucepans will last. Because like a lot of left-wing champagne socialists, you have no idea of the real world. And sadly, the rest of us have tried to be, bullied and intimidated by these groups that accuse anyone of far right or racist that disagree with them. In fact, I think you are Palestine Action and Free Palestine. I think you are probably the most far right in your behaviour that I've ever seen or ever had the displeasure to meet. And it's funny because today I don't see any of the BBC covering 2 years today. I don't see it all across the news about how sad it is and remembering it, because this is the reason that 2 years later, and a lot of the left like to forget this or won't admit it, this is the reason there is problems over in the Gaza 2 years later, because terrorists hide, they don't come out and fight. And if it wasn't for that attack by Hamas on those innocent Israelis, I bet you it would be 2 years into a war, would it? But I don't see the LBC covering it. They'll be pointing their fingers elsewhere and blaming everybody else. And I don't see the BBC covering it. But all I see is this left-wing epidemic